Do you remember the glory days of video games? It was a great time. It was back when if you wanted a game, you bought it, and that was it. You got all the content that you needed for one purchase. And then the video game companies decided that another way that they could make money was paywalling content within the game and making you pay more after you bought the game to play the full game. And everybody thought that was a great idea. The customers thought, wow, I really feel like a valued customer and that I'm definitely not being squeezed for every penny I have. Oh wait, no, everybody hated it. But the video game companies made more money, and therefore the entire industry changed towards that. And ladies and gentlemen, aren't you excited to know that the world of microtransactions has made it into the Guitar Gear industry? I hate it here. That's right, as of today, Boss have released a new pedal that frankly looks like a chips in Photoshop, but other than that, the core premise of it is built entirely on microtransactions. Yay! Now unfortunately, the gear industry has been on this downward trend towards these microtransactions for a while. Just last year I talked about and was very critical of the Kemper Player updates, where it was not updates anymore, it was upgrades, where they would charge hundreds to unlock features of the unit. Like, you have to pay Kemper hundreds more to access storage on the device. Storage that's already there on the unit that you own. And this has a genuine real-world impact in what you'd be doing. The unit that you bought is fully capable of accessing 8 FX blocks, it's just they've paywalled 4 of them because they want more money. I was critical of it then, and I'll be critical of it now, but it's not Kemper's turn at the moment, it's Boss's, because Boss have jumped on the microtransaction train and choo-choo, it's pretty bad. This is the brand new Boss PX1 plug-out effects pedal, retailing for $250. And the core premise of the unit is one that's been around for a while, going so far back as to 2011 with Digitech and the iStomp. One physical device with the ability to do lots of different effects depending on the player's needs. If you need a chorus, you can change it. If you need a delay, you can change it to that. It's a multi-effects pedal in a very small format that the iStomp was one of the first to incorporate the phone to the pedal device. The thing is, it completely flopped. At least the thing about the iStomp though was you bought the pedal and it was a one-time purchase. That was it. You then had access to as many effects and change them on their app. You can still download the app, although it hasn't been updated in 11 years. So it was essentially abandoned. But the concept of one pedal being the chameleon on your board, the ability to do whatever you need it to do at a certain time, is still a popular one, and multiple companies have jumped on that idea. You've got the Zoom Multi-Stomps. These have been around for years and in multiple different iterations. The current one has over 100 effects, and it's coming in at a pretty good price of $110. And all those effects are stored on the unit itself. This doesn't need a phone or an app or anything, it's buttons that are on the unit. I like that. Maybe a more modern version with the usage of a phone is the TC Electronic Plethora X1. For $151, you get access to the TC Electronic Tone Print library, and that has a lot of different effects that you can beam into the pedal via your phone. So that's the phone usage aspect of it. It does have less effects than the Zoom though. For example, the TC Electronic has 14 effects. Then for $300, you've got the Line 6 HX1. Now this unit is a little bit different. It also, kind of like the Zoom, it doesn't need the apps or anything like that, although you can use it with a laptop or something like that via USB. But it doesn't really need that. This has got over 250 different effects with 2 foot switches. It's got more, maybe, usability on a pedal board, I'd say, although it comes with the price tag. $300 is a lot more than the $100 on the Zoom or the $150 on the TC. Now all of these pedals compete with each other in the category of chameleon pedal. It's the pedal that sits on your board and does whatever you need it to do. It can be a chorus if you need it now, or it can be a delay if you need it. It changes to suit what you need. So that's the category of pedal. But where they compete with each other and they're the same is that they're all a fixed price. Like we said, the Zoom had 100 effects and it was $100, and the TC had 14 effects, it was $150. The Line 6 was $300, but it had 250 effects. Then there's the new Boss. The Boss plug-out, just like the others, is a multi-effects pedal which can offer one effect at any given time, but stores multiple different effects overall. It, like some of the competition, is based off a phone app. one that you have to have a Roland account for, and you have to sign up and you have to register the pedal for it to work, and all of that fun. The storage of the unit is quite minimal. It has 8 pre-installed effects and an additional 8 that can be loaded via the app. However, depending on their size, the number that can be stored in the overall pedal may be fewer than 8. At present, if you buy it, it'll set you back $250 US, and with that you will get 8 preloaded effects that you cannot remove, and then 8 more than, or at least like up to 8 more depending on the size, that you can add into the pedal via the app. And then it gets interesting. It's projected that by January 2026, Boss will be adding multiple effects that you can purchase to add into the pedal, bearing in mind that at present you will have 16 slots and 16 effects. Therefore, if you purchase any extra, you will have to forego at least one or however many you need to replace into the pedal. And if you do end up purchasing something, it's purchasing a license for the effect. And call me old-fashioned, but when I buy something, I don't want to buy a license to own the thing, I just want to own the thing. This is mine. These effects will be $10 each, so I guess we're treating them like Fortnite skins. And the reaction has been mixed. Some people are all for it, and others, myself included, aren't. For one, it's very much worth mentioning that once you get into the digital realm of things, you have to have long-lasting support, and if Boss are known for anything, they are not known for their long-lasting support on digital products. They don't really tend to keep up on updates. Even on flagship models, there's some that they haven't updated in several years. And with that, I suppose there is a silver lining to it. It means that there's likely going to be some hack on this pedal, which will likely give you access to multiple of the paywalled effects. But I can't help but look at the price and think it's massively overpriced. For what you're getting, it's actually really quite a lot of money. Like, comparatively, it's $50 difference between the most expensive one that we looked at, the HX1 with 250 plus effects, and this with 16, and then you pay for more. People are pointing this out on guitar pedal subreddits, and Boss themselves have responded by saying, it's not really comparable to other products on the market, as we're offering pedals/sounds that are unique to Boss and many discontinued/vintage Boss effects. The unobtainable has just become reality without having to pay high second-hand prices per pedal. Okay, I've got some counterpoints to that argument, but what they're talking about with the vintage/discontinued pedals that are high-priced on the second-hand market, we're talking about the Boss Slow Gear and the Boss Spectrum, which are both discontinued and have been for a very long time, and go for a lot in the second-hand market. And Boss has those as some of the pre-8 loaded effects on this unit. The counterpoints to the argument are A, the reason that they're discontinued is because they weren't popular. When a product is absolutely flying off the shelves, companies don't tend to get rid of it. Take Boss, for example. They have the DS1, which has been in production for 47 years. They've sold millions of them. And then take the Spectrum, which was in production for 1 year and they discontinued. Or the Slow Gear, which was in production for 3 years and they discontinued it. They discontinued them because no one wanted them. And the only reason that the high prices on the second-hand market is it's a collector's market. If you reissued it, if you WAS'd it like you could absolutely do, I don't think it would get the hype for 5 minutes like every new pedal release does. But how long would that last? How many people want a Spectrum analyzer? Or is the queue out the door? I can't imagine it is. And also, if I was in Boss's position, I wouldn't want people comparing the competitors either, because they might realize just how wonky the numbers are once you work them out. So the Boss unit has 16 effects, the Line 6 HX1 has 250 plus, so let's just call it 250. So minus 16 of that, it's 234 effects on the HX1 that you're getting. So if they were taking up the Boss approach, you'd charge $10 for each of them. So the price would be $2,340 plus the $300 of the unit. At the end of the day, I'm sure some people are going to be very happy, but I can't help but be concerned about how this industry is going to go if everything becomes They're even trying to get subscriptions in, by the way. To use the pedal effects with the DAW, you have to get a Roland Cloud, but they'll include a 6-month premium super duper subscription for free, and then you have to pay more for it, or else you can't use the effects with the DAW thing. Look, I get this is probably going to be the perfect pedal for someone out there, and if it is for you, that's great news. All the power to you. But from a consumer perspective, I can't help but really dislike this trend that I'm seeing. These microtransactions where we're treating effects like DLCs in games is just... I do not like it. We're paying already a huge amount of money for these units. The physical unit in this case is $250, and then you have to pay more for the effects to actually use on it. It's just... I do not like it one bit. And the more companies that do it, the more you can't say no. So that's why I'm being very vocal right now. This is a bad thing. I do not like this microtransactional stuff. We're getting, what's next? Pay the ultimate super duper subscription and have a phaser without ads. Like, come on. We're gonna get there eventually if this is accepted with open arms. I don't think it should be. I think the saving grace for the guitar community in general is it's very set in its ways, and that isn't always a good thing, but I think in this case it might be. Maybe I'm an old man, but I like if you buy something, you actually bought something. You don't have to pay more to unlock more, you don't have to download an app. That makes me sound really old, but I'd really like to be able to do more with less. So let me know what you think. Are you for this sort of microtransactional stuff? Are you against it? Are you subscription based? Are you not? Pop it down in the comments. Subscribe if you want to subscribe. Like the video if you liked it. Dislike it if you disliked it. I don't know. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.